This is Sports Weekly. Hello and welcome back to Sports Weekly. I'm Dylan Staggy.
I'm Jason Gandhi.
And we have plenty of sports for you today, but no college football. Of course, the season just ended. A great national championship we talked about last week, but it's college basketball time. The conference play is getting into full swing and plenty of things to talk about. We each have 3 things today, as usual. Jason, what are your 3?
Well, before we get into that, I want to mention about college football. The one thing I do have, I know we did not discuss the national championship. We did last week, never got it put out. So, great job by Bama, as you say, with Tua and all that. National Signing Day is February 7th, so we'll probably do a little something after that. So for all you college football fans, we still will talk about it in the offseason, but obviously not as much with nothing going on. But yes, college basketball. Now, to some people, it started. I hate that when people say college basketball doesn't start until college football starts. Or it ends. That's the most annoying thing. That's the best time of year is November, December, when you got 4, 5 sports going on at a time. So great. Anyway, let's get back to March Madden. Let's focus. Cavs get their first test. Now, college basketball, not the NBA. Virginia is 5-0 in the ACC after beating Syracuse and NC State at home. The 4 of the Cavs' first games in ACC play have been at home, but now the test begins. They head on the road for 5 of their next 7. Boomin' Sooner. I talked about this in the episode that didn't get put out about how Trae Young needed help, so now we saw him finally get the help. A strong bounce-back week from Coach Kruger's team when they knocked off Texas Tech and TCU. Trae Young obviously balled out, as we know. But Christian James had 15 points against Texas Tech, while Brady Manick went for 22 against TCU. That is what Oklahoma needs if they're going to be a successful team. And number 3, you gotta find the happy medium. It has been a fairly quick fall off from number 1 for Arizona State, which has lost 3 of its past 5 and just barely beat Oregon State at home on Saturday. The Sun Devils' defense has been less than stellar in Pac-12 play, giving up at least 1.08 points per possession in each of their 5 league games. Moreover, they've hit only 40% of their threes in 2 of the 5 games. And we remember, when Arizona State was number 1, they were cooking from three-point line.
Oh, yeah, Arizona State, they have made a nosedive. Yeah. Speaking of nosedives, though, the SEC, I said a few weeks ago that they might be a sneaky, kind of deep conference, but wow, have they fallen off.
Yeah, SEC and Big 12 flipped. Nobody really thought anything of the Big 12, and now they're the deepest conference in basketball.
Yeah, Texas A&M 0-5 in the conference, but Auburn is taking over. They've only lost 1 game, and they're 5-0 in SEC play. We don't know how really long that can sustain. Obviously, Kentucky's going to be up there. Florida, if they can turn things around. But the SEC been underwhelming. Auburn taking advantage of the number 17 team in the country right now.
Yeah.
And then, second thing, Duke, they are so talented. But, man, they just scare you in every single game against Michigan State, Texas, Florida, IU. They all took them to the last few minutes before Duke was able to come out with a victory. And then they lost a couple of games against Boston College and North Carolina State that really they had no business losing. So yeah, Duke just really got to be more consistent, especially by tournament time.
But the game Monday night, you got to look at when you talk about Duke. Gary Trent Jr., yes, he carried the team to that victory, but Wendell Carter really stepped up. He was a force to be reckoned with and opened up other things. Obviously, yeah, they should not have lost either of those games, but I still think Duke, despite their record, is the best team in college basketball.
Yeah, I agree. They just got to be more consistent, especially those games that are really going to scare you in tournament time when they're playing some better competition. Like, I mean, they're not going to be playing teams like North Carolina State or Boston College to try and get into the championship.
Look at games like Michigan State, Florida, Texas consistently, for sure.
Yeah. And last thing, I can't go an episode without talking about the Hoosiers. IU has played great in Big Ten play so far, 4-2, but the schedule turns tough. If you're watching this Friday, big game versus Michigan State, and the schedule really heats up for IU. 4 out of the next 6 are going to be against ranked teams. So hopefully they can sustain that, but still a little bit of surprise that they're even 4-2 at this point. IU playing some good basketball.
Yeah, you said how good they're playing in the Big Ten, and it's funny, that was the demise of the IU football team. They couldn't get a win in the Big Ten, so complete opposites from IU football and IU basketball, but you got to love to see it if you're a Hoosier fan.
All right, that's going to do it for March Mad Men today. Next, we're going to move on to some more basketball at the professional level with Around the Association. Welcome back to Around the Association. Of course, we also have 3 things that we each talk about here. So, Jason, why don't you start it off?
Memphis, we have a problem. We both remember that hot start they got off to, right?
Yeah.
Well, since October, the Grizzlies haven't won back-to-back games, beaten a top 5 team, or won a home game by more than 3 points. Until Monday, when they beat the Lonzo-less Lakers by 9. And 1.5 points here. The Lakers have only played, I forget how many games, but they've lost all of them without Lonzo, and only one has been within single digits. So I think they need Lonzo a little bit. Number 2, 4 is the magic number, and we've seen it last year, and we see it again this year. On Saturday, the Warriors nearly blew a 27-point halftime lead against the Raptors, but showed down the stretch why they're an NBA best 12-4 in games decided in clutch time this season. In the final 5 minutes, with the score being within 2 points, they've shot 4 for 4 from the field and outscored the Raptors 9-0. On Monday, they controlled the game down the stretch versus the Cavs and proved why they are far and away the best team in basketball. And number 3, keeping it positive. Plus minus is not usually indicative of how the player or how the team is, and I know a lot of people get pretty angry with plus minus and using that, but when it comes to Giannis, it's pretty spot on. When the Greek Freak records a positive plus minus, the Bucks 21-4. When the number is -1 or worse, 0-15.
You think that's just because he plays the whole game?
I mean, yes and no, but a lot of guys play the whole game, and it's not that drastic. That's crazy.
All right. My first thing, you mentioned the Warriors and the Cavs game a little bit. The Cavs are 2-8 out of their last 10 games. Apparently, they are for sure going to make a deal by the deadline, and some players on the Cavs team think that they don't have what it takes to be a finals contender this year.
I agree.
Some crazy things from the Cavs. They are not looking good right now, but no hot takes from me because this happens every January to the Cavs.
Do you have any word on what the trade would be? Do you know who's...
It just said that the Cavs were for sure going to make at least one deal before the trade deadline.
I mean, a while ago, they came out the rumor that they were not going to trade that pick, but if you're trying to convince LeBron to stay, you got to use that pick. If you put a DeMarcus Cousins or Anthony Davis on that team, I'm sorry, but then you can get me to believe they can beat the Warriors.
All right. Next team in the East, also the 76ers. They've won 5 out of their last 6 with Embiid back. They're young and improving, and they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot this year.
What are they at right now?
20-20, I believe, as of the time we're recording this.
Okay.
But really, what's up with Markelle Fultz, though? I mean, apparently he forgot how to shoot a basketball.
Follow our Sports Sermon account on Twitter at the Sports Sermon, Sports with a Z, and we talked about it and just how ugly that thing is. It is just bad. It looks like a 3-year-old. He has to hitch it to get it all the way up there. It's bad.
Yeah, hopefully he can figure that out. A lot of potential with him. If they can get him going, Sixers would be a dangerous team. I don't know about this year, though.
Yeah, I mean, I know friend of the show, Dan Majors, he has a Markelle Fultz jersey, and he was telling me how disappointed he was. And I know a lot of Sixers fans are really disappointed in Markelle Fultz. Can you imagine if the Lakers would have drafted Markelle Fultz right now?
Oh, that would be a
How
mess.
crazy would Los Angeles media be going right now if he forgot how to shoot when he was with the Lakers? And we made a big deal about Lonzo's shot.
All right, and my last thing, I don't know if you guys saw on Monday, the Clippers and Rockets game. Near the end of the game, here, I'm just going to explain the whole thing from the beginning. So it's Chris Paul's first game back in LA after, of course, being traded to the Rockets this summer. And at the end of the game, things were getting a little bit chippy. Both Blake Griffin and Trevor Ariza got ejected. Did anyone else get ejected?
I don't think so. I know they both got double text. I don't remember if D'Antonio got one too, but he was also chirping.
Yeah. And then so after the game, both teams were in the locker rooms, and the Rockets decide to go find some secret tunnels to the Clippers locker room led by Chris Paul. Chris Paul, James Harden, and Trevor Ariza all found some secret tunnels to get into the back way to the Clippers locker room. They sent Clint Capella around
That's
the
my
front.
favorite part. They just left Capella out to dry. They just said, all right, you're going to be the decoy. Like, that's my favorite part. It's so much like a middle school, like, you go this way, I go this way. Like, that was the best part.
And then when they opened the door for Capella, they shut it right in his face. Apparently, he sat there for a couple of minutes and then just went back to the locker room.
That's my favorite part. I absolutely love that story about Clint Capella being the scapegoat that just walk up and knock on the door. It's like a casual media guy. I thought that part was awesome.
But then anyway, back to the Chris Paul, James Harden, and Trevor Ariza getting into the locker room. Apparently, they did get in. They were trying to come for Blake Griffin and Austin Rivers to try and fight them in the locker room. They didn't actually get to fight, though, unfortunately. I would have loved to see some video of that.
Yeah.
But I just think the whole thing is absolutely hilarious. On the night that the Clippers honored Chris Paul, he comes and tries to fight the team in their locker room.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. I heard about it, but I didn't see anything. So today I went on YouTube, and there's a great 8-minute video of the game, and it's cut up where every single time someone got chippy, and it was the greatest video. It was little things like, I think it was Trevor Ariza ripped off Blake Griffin's leg sleeve, and Griffin like slapped the ball out of Chris Paul's hand after a foul. Just like little petty things. Last night was a gem for basketball.
And the whole thing just showing how NBA is literally a show with some
for sure.
great basketball sprinkled in.
Oh, for sure. Great, like I said, great night. You've got the Lakers playing, and imagine if Lonzo's playing at that part of it. You've got a finals rematch, and you've got the antics with the Clippers Rockets. What a great day for basketball on Monday night.
All right. That's going to do it today for Around the Association. We'll move on to some Friday night football. Lots of stuff to talk about in the NFL.
For sure.
All right, welcome back to some Friday night football. Last weekend was the divisional rounds, and there's a couple games on Saturday, a couple games on Sunday. Saturday games, the Eagles beat the Falcons in a pretty ugly game. The Eagles win 15-10, and then the Patriots, of course, like everyone expected, beat the Titans pretty badly. But the Sunday games were where it's at. Jaguars and Steelers in an absolute shootout. Jaguars end up winning that one 45-42, and then the crazy play on the 4:30 game, the Saints and the Vikings. At the end, it looked like the Vikings were just completely out of it. But then Case Keenum throws a deep ball to Stephon Diggs. Desperation, last minute, no timeouts from the Vikings. Stephon Diggs probably could have got out of bounds and they could have kicked a field goal, but he keeps running, gets the walk-off touchdown, and the Vikings are moving on to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, it was a great week, but divisional round football are the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I wore this shirt for a reason. I knew we were talking about football. Johnny Manziel got offered a contract. Now we've got a few days to wait until they sign one. Hamilton Tiger Cats. You know you're getting a jersey, right?
I don't know about that.
You got to get one. All right, back to divisional round football. Every game was so good for different reasons, even the Titans-Patriots. You saw this crazy Mike Mularkey story come out of that. And the Falcons-Eagles, a game of bounces. If Keanu Neal doesn't bounce that ball off his chest into Torrey Smith, the Jags. If the coaching staff had him go 4th and 1 with QB sneaks. And then the Vikings game. There's not even words needed. Great day. I heard Kyle Brandt say this in Good Morning Football. Best day in football. You've got wild card. There's some teams that shouldn't be in. Conference championships. There's not enough games. Best weekend was this weekend.
All right, and we know the Colts just made a big hire, Josh McDaniels this week, but we'll be talking about all the coaching changes next week because, of course, there's a week in between the Super Bowl. So let's get to some awards, I guess, for the divisional rounds. First up, your MVP.
If you guys have ever watched this show, since the playoffs, when I talked about how Dylan did not give the Jags any respect, my Raiders are unfortunately out of the playoffs. So went all in on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And who else for the MVP than big baller Bortles?
0 TDs.
No, he had one to Tommy Bohannon. the big touchdown. Don't be hating. See, you're already wrong on the Jags again. Here we go. This isn't to suggest that Bortles was the only reason Jacksonville won on Sunday. The kind of effort he gave provides critical and crucial confidence for a young quarterback and a rapidly maturing team. He completed 14 of his 24 passes for 214 yards and 1 touchdown. Also ran for 35 yards. Don't worry, he didn't outrun himself this time. And Bortles did exactly what he was supposed to do for a team built on a powerful running game and a young, hungry defense. He made just enough plays to help the Jags win while also avoiding the mistakes that have led him to being tagged as the weak link in the Jaguars' championship hopes. I'm all in on him, and he outshined Big Ben. If you look at the stats, yes, Big Ben had more glamorous stats, but everybody you talk to, reporters, sides of both teams, Bortles outplayed Big Ben. The throw to Yeldon, where he went through 4 different progressions and then found Yeldon for the big gain. The throw to Keelan Cole, where Nathaniel Hackett talked about opening the playbook, and then you see it in such a crucial moment. It was all fantastic. All in all, he made the plays necessary. When the defense didn't show up like it usually does, he came through. And Blake Bortles can, if this Blake Bortles shows up along with this crazy Leonard Fournette, this team can go very, very far. I apologize for the rant.
All right. We'll see about that this week against the Patriots.
Saxonville, baby.
Yeah. We'll see. My MVP, though, Stephon Diggs, 137 yards and the big touchdown at the end. Huge in the moment. Somehow knew to not get out of bounds after catching the ball and went on to the end zone. I mean, what would have been crazy, if the other safety came over from the other side for the Saints. No one was over there, and really a bit of a fluke lucky play, but obviously a great moment for Vikings and the Vikings fans.
Oh, yeah. Stephon Diggs, he said in the post-game interview that all the coaches, all the players were telling him to get out of bounds. Yeah. But he didn't see anybody, so why would he go out of bounds? He was taking this one. So, crazy play, and you saw him. He basked in the glory. He was out there staring like this, doing this. It was all over the place. Stephon Diggs loved the moment.
All right, let's turn it over to the other side. Least valuable player, coach, whatever you want, that really hurt their team this divisional round.
I'm staying in the same game. Jags, Steelers. You've got to look at the Steelers coaching staff. 2 4th-and-1s, and they didn't QB sneak it when you have the second tallest quarterback, and he was known for being hard to tackle. You don't QB sneak the ball at least once.
They call him Big Ben.
For a reason, right? The onside kick, I didn't hate. Looking back, obviously, they shouldn't have done it, but I didn't hate it. Still questionable. I think we all agree on that. And then, just questionable decisions throughout. It was little things where, why are you playing this coverage against when you look at Bortles and the defense that leads the league in sacks did not have 1 sack on Blake Bortles. Yes, give that credit to the offensive line who also plowed its way for Leonard Fournette to destroy them. But you've got to show up better. That's on the coaching staff. And my last thing, these guys were looked so far past the Jags. They were already almost in Foxborough. I think they already had their plane tickets purchased and everything. It was unreal. This coaching staff, if there were better options, Tomlin should be gone. He won't be, and he shouldn't be with what's available, but he has continuously come up short in these big games, and if they were better options, I'd cut the cord right now. I was completely disappointed.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I totally agree. The Steelers did not show up. You saw Le'Veon Bell's tweet saying that we'll get 2 revenges in 2 weeks. So we'll see. We'll see about that with the Steelers coaching changes later.
Yeah.
Assuming no, but I'm also gonna stay with the Steelers. The Steelers front 7. They just got eaten apart by Leonard Fournette. 3 touchdowns. He played the second half with a bum ankle. How do you just let him eat you up like that? And I know you love Bortles, but the game plan has got to be to stop Leonard Fournette first and force Bortles to beat you.
And I would say the same thing with Big Ben. You make Big Ben beat you and stop Le'Veon Bell. And that's what the Jags did.
And they gave up 42 points.
True. Yeah, this was the game the defense didn't show up, but luckily Jags offense did.
Yeah, the Steelers just not good enough to win that game.
Yeah.
Last thing though, biggest surprise.
Breeze's first half? What was that? In the first half, he threw for 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a 26.6 passer rating. That's horrible. And this is what I just expected this veteran, I honestly think if it was Case Keenum, yes, we would have been like, oh, we wish you would have showed up, but there would have been really don't blink an eye because he doesn't have the experience. Drew Brees has won a Super Bowl. He's been in these games. He was in that 2009 game where he had to play with everything to get to the Super Bowl against Brett Favre. Where was that Drew Brees? Yes, the second half he showed up, but it was almost too little too late. Yes, they tied it up and they took the lead, but think about if he showed up in the first half. It would not have been a close game. I was disappointed by Breezy.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to blame Marcus Williams for missing the tackle on Stephon Diggs, but, I mean, when you score 0 points in the first half, you can't expect to win too many football games.
Yeah, you have to feel for Marcus Williams. That dude's getting torn apart on Twitter.
Yeah. All right. My biggest surprise was that the Falcons only put up 10 points in their game against the Eagles. They have so much talent on the offensive side, and they can only put up 10 points against probably an average defense. They've played a little better than they should have this year.
You're going to get the Peter Schrager treatment if you talk like that. Brandon Graham, all-pro linebacker, called out reporters for doubting them and saying their defense wasn't good enough. Don't be calling them an average defense on this show. It was all him, guys. It was not me. Average defense?
I mean, with the Falcons' talent on the offense, they certainly
more
have
than
to show
10
up.
points.
They have to show up for that. That's going to do it for Friday night. Oh wait, we didn't even make picks yet.
Come on, Dylan.
I lied. We got to make our picks for the games.
Yeah, boy.
Jason, Vikings, Eagles. Who wins?
I just talked about the Eagles. So Dylan and I try to disagree on here and try to sell both sides. That way we can hit them up. So he says he's going with the Vikings. So I'm not sure I 100% believe in the Eagles, but here are the ways that it's possible. So I will be reading these because I had to look them up. Number 1 seeds playing at home in conference championship games, 28-12. In the last 8 of those title games across AFC and NFC, the home team 8-0 record. Minnesota has struggled mightily when it comes to hitting the road for postseason matchups, as the Vikings have gone 3-13 in road playoff games since 1982. Don't worry, there's more. This season, 2 of the Vikings' 3 losses came on the road on grass outdoor fields. And you're thinking, that's crazy. Who cares? The grass Lincoln Financial Field was noticeably slippery in the Eagles' divisional round matchup with the Falcons. Watch out for the slippery grass. And last but not least, the Eagles are undefeated when they are home underdogs in the playoffs, and Vikings quarterback Case Keenum being 1-4 against road teams with a winning percentage of at least .666, and all of a sudden the arrow doesn't necessarily point right in Minnesota's favor. I'm all in on the underdogs. Let's go. Eagles fly. Eagles fly.
All right. All right, sure. I'd rather talk about the teams this year, though. The Vikings just had a big emotional game at home. They're going to be fired up to come back and play at their home stadium in this Super Bowl, and they get it done on the road. I think Case Keenum is better than Nick Foles. You saw the Eagles' offense last week. It was not too great. Only 1 touchdown and 3 field goals, so I'm liking the Vikings to play even better defense than the Falcons do.
You heard Joe Buck. Philly, Philly. Are you feeling Millie the grandma, 100 years old at the Vikings game? Millie, I think she was a good luck charm for the Vikings. Without Millie, they wouldn't have won that game.
We'll see. Next game, Jaguars and Patriots.
This one, we didn't have to pick to disagree. This one just naturally happened. Want me to go on the rant again? I won't, don't worry. But this defense is scary. This group finished second in total defense and scoring defense. Finished first in yards per play and first downs given up. They were second in sacks with 55 and second in interceptions with 21. Of their starters, only Calais Campbell is over 30, which could be a positive and a negative. But the offense gets it done and joins an exclusive club which only 2 other people are in, and that is the club of beating Brady at Foxborough in the playoffs. Don't shake your head. Don't be hating on the Patriots. You didn't believe on them in the beginning of the season. They proved you wrong. The Bills might get them. Nope. The Steelers definitely going to get them. No chance. Nope. Keep hating Saxonville. I figured out the thing is Duval till we die, I think. I'm all in. I'll be getting a Bortles jersey for it. It is going to be amazing. Jacksonville, Philly, the battle of the backup/hated quarterbacks. Nick Foles, Blake Bortles. I am so excited.
All right. Don't get too carried away.
Just saying.
I'm going to go with the Patriots in this one. They know the game plan. to stop Leonard Fournette and make Blake Bortles beat you.
Easy.
Road game at Foxborough in the playoffs. Too much experience. Patriots get it done.
One thing, you know what Blake Bortles is in the playoffs? Undefeated, never lost. Yeah, you heard that from LeVar Ball. Big baller Bortles, undefeated in the playoffs. Oh my goodness, keep hating on them. They're going to keep proving people wrong. I'm so excited. Sunday, 3:05. If we win in CYO on Thursday, I'm skipping the game on Sunday. I'm watching the game.
All right.
Bortles all the way,
All right.
baby. Let's go.
See, I'm actually at a dilemma at who to root for in this game. See if Jacksonville wins.
You're going to have to hear this for 2 more weeks, baby.
And also, the Colts get their new coach a couple of weeks earlier.
Oh, yeah.
But also that means he didn't draw up a very good game plan to beat the team that he has to play twice a year as the Colts coach.
Yeah.
So I'm in a little bit of a dilemma for that game.
One
Who
more
to root
fun
for,
fact.
but-
Not about the Jags. I promise it's over about that. I saw this on Twitter, actually. Did you know that at one point, Nick Foles, Case Keenum, and Kirk Cousins were all at Michigan State as quarterbacks?
Please come to the front office.
Did you know that?
That's crazy.
Julian
Nick
Evans,
Foles,
please
Case
come to the
Keenum,
front
and
office.
Kirk Cousins. All 3 of them. That's 2 guys in the NFC Championship and a good starter. That's crazy. I don't know why I had to bring that up, but I just thought about it and thought I should tell you. That's crazy.
All right, that's going to do it for Friday Night Football. Last but not least, we're moving on to Soarin Sports at Soarin Catholic. All right, and welcome back to Soarin Sports at Soarin Catholic. Lots of Soarin Catholic sports going on.
Yeah, boys basketball is the big one, though. You got to talk about how hot they are right now. Whew, I'm excited. Big game. I don't know what day you're watching this. I could act like I could say tonight it's Friday. It could be Saturday. Whatever day, on Friday against Brebeuf. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Jack Hansen goes for 1,000 points this past weekend. We beat the Arties of Martinsville, and now we have a chance to beat Brebeuf, which would be such a big win. Then you have a chance to win the Circle City Conference, never been done in Soarin Catholic history. This would really set us up nicely, beat a sectional opponent. We didn't get to see Broad Ripple as it got snowed out, so big game there. And one thing Coach Smith told the guys on practice, this is the biggest game of the season. You know why?
Why?
Because it's the next one. And because it's Brebeuf week. I'm excited.
Yeah, on Friday, Soarin Catholic will be going for its 200th program win, and of course, Coach Smith's 200th win at Soarin Catholic. He's been here since the beginning, so a big game Friday. Also, on Saturday, the Golden Eagles come back home for their first home game in over a month. That'll be against Richmond, and it's also Special Olympics night. Always a fun time seeing the Special Olympics kids play their game at halftime. And a great night for Soarin Catholic.
Always. It's so fun. I love seeing these kids who are just so excited to be out there. You have refs from the student section, and it's always just such a fun night. So I'm really excited for Saturday when we take on Richmond. And athletic trainer Blair, she is from Richmond, and she told us that we have to win for her. So Friday and Saturday, 2 big games.
All right, Soarin Catholic basketball. Hot streak right now. Make sure you tune in to the games if you can't make it. We'll be on the call as always. SoarinCatholic.faithnetwork.com.
Follow us at the Sports Sermon for the first 3/4 of this show. If you want any of that content, we tweet regularly, make podcasts. Follow that the Sports Sermon, Sports with a Z.
And for the last quarter, the Soarin Sports at Soarin Catholic. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at GC Broadcasting. And that's all we got for you today. I'm Dylan Staggy.
I'm Jason Gandhi.
And thank you for watching Sports Weekly.
Big baller Bortles, baby.
This is Sports Weekly.